scoring outputs and how crazy scoring has been, not just this season, but lately in the NBA, kind of in the modern era, of scoring. And there are a bunch of teams who are on pace to set like the single season scoring record. And that's Brooklyn, Utah, Denver, the Clippers, and Milwaukee. And they're all on pace, to have this crazy scoring output. What 116 per game or something like that. Like scoring is nuts. And you put on your Instagram not too long ago, Ahmad, that you kind of miss the old NBA where players who are scoring 40 and 50 now, like you don't feel it as much because scoring is so prevalent, it's so easy in today's NBA. And I feel like this kind of goes along the same lines. So we kind of wanted to do a little investigation, a little deep dive into how is this happening? Why have we gotten here? Why is scoring so easily? And like, do you feel 40 to 50 point games? Anthony Edwards had 42 last night, and it was like, hey, good job.
Cat did too. Same
Cat
game,
did,
same team.
Same game. Had 41 in the same game.
I just think when the game has changed so much, it's no defense. Can't touch the offense opponent. It's kind of like the game is so fast paced. It's kind of like back in the past when you had Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, all those guys, Tracy McGrady. The game was very slow. It felt like every game in the regular season felt like a playoff game. It's just kind of like now teams are putting up 130, 140 points, combining. It's a very dicey situation what's going on. And it's kind of has diluted the game, I would say. Kind of makes the NBA regular season kind of boring because either it's a blowout or I would say it's just like these guys are just putting up these crazy amount of numbers on a nightly basis. It's kind of like not taking away from these guys, but when Fred VanVleet, and as talented as he is, what did he drop? Like 50, was it 53 or something?
You're saying that should never happen.
Norman Powell did the same thing. 40-point games from Norman Powell.
That's what I'm saying. These are just starting caliber guys, great starters, and they're playing like all-stars and doing this. It's just like
TJ Warren in the
it's
bubble
like video
last
game
year.
numbers.
TJ Warren in the bubble.
TJ Warren in the bubble. If you look at Jamal Murray, people are looking at him. It's just kind of like, damn, I really don't know. It's just different.
So just to give some backing to that, in 2012, only 8 players in the league averaged over 20 points. This year, 35 players are averaging over 20 points.
No, that's crazy.
That right there shows. I mean, and I do think, and I'm curious about what you think about this. I do think the fact that there are no fans is a huge part of it as well.
Big part. No
it's
fans,
an open gym.
No pressure. Role players not feeling tightness. Normal starters not really feeling nervous. Can just go out and hoop. It's open gym. That's what it looks like right now. So that's why
I also think that there's too many threes.
Yeah, of course. Analytics.
This year the Cavs are last in the NBA at 27.7 3-pointers per game. In 2013, the Warriors were first with 23 3-pointers a game. It's nuts. Daryl Morey just mentioned this, and I think it's a good idea. We should get rid of the corner three. Just let it go out of bounds. And then that makes the game tighter. And it's not just drive and kick, because the entire game's drive and kick and pick and rolls. I want more variety.
I don't think it's that. I think the NBA needs to put back the old defensive rules. I think you should be able to touch your man. You should be able to do things that you can't do right now that you could do in the past. I think that's what we need to see, because right now these guys, it's no defense being played, and it's like you said, it's threes, and layups. Analytics, that's what they're taught. Threes, layups. That's it. And then what that does is more possessions. That's why you see guys Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double 3 straight years in a row, because it's just like it's so many possessions. Or you see like these crazy stats of Giannis Antetokounmpo putting up these crazy numbers, winning back-to-back MVPs, and everybody's like, oh, he's averaging 30-10. Then in the playoffs, if you do the eye test, you're looking at his game, it's like he can't really score in the half court when it matters the most. But then it's like the casual fans are looking at all these numbers, all these statistics like, yo, Giannis is a top 5 player in the game. He's the best player in the game, all these great things. But the eye test, if you really watch the game, you really know and understand what you're watching, you know what's going on with the amount of possessions, running up, fast break, transitions, all those things. And then when you get in the playoffs, it's not a shocker when you see guys struggle, because teams play defense. You know, everybody locks up. The guys that you think that don't play defense, they lock up, they get after, they go 100% hard. So it's a very dicey situation right now.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that the last 3 or 4 years, the NBA champion has been one of the best defensive teams in the league. The Lakers last year were the best defensive team. The Raptors the year before, one of the best defensive teams. And so I think that kind of brand of basketball wins in the playoffs. And it's crazy because like the novice fan won't watch all these NBA games every night, but they'll wake up the next day and look at stats, and they'll wake up the next day and be like, "Oh, Giannis dropped 30 and 10. He's going crazy." But they don't watch the game that they know is going to change come playoff time, where Giannis isn't going to be able to take the ball every possession, take 3 dribbles, coast basket to basket, and lay it up over someone. That's not going to happen in the playoffs.
It's also why I'm not a Zach LaVine fan. He's a incredible scorer on a team that doesn't win.
Well, okay.
It's changing a little bit this year. He tries on defense.
He just has no defensive IQ.
That was uncalled for. That was really unnecessary. What you had to do to Zach LaVine there.
See, I hate that because they said the same thing about Devin Booker. But people want to punish like these superstar talents like Zach LaVine and Devin Booker, but never look at the owners and the GMs and the team situation that they put these guys in. They don't never want to go all in when it comes to a Zach LaVine or Devin Booker, but they expect these guys to just do everything and get them to the playoffs. So it's just kind of like, you're going to put the onus on Zach LaVine and Devin Booker for struggling and, not playing defense. Of course they're not playing defense when they've got to account for 80% of the offense. But it's just like entertainment.
My point is when you build a title team, Zach LaVine can't be your best player. He can't be your second best player. He has to be your third best player.
That's a better argument. That's a legit argument. You can say that.
I do think I just want to be fair to Zach LaVine. His efficient field goal percentage jumped 10% this year from 52 to 62%. He is a much improved. I was in the same boat, Matt, with you, but he is a much improved player this year. I'll just leave it at that.
He's gotten a lot better. I just still hate his defense.
That's fine. Matt. For Jokic, you can ignore the defense. For Zach LaVine, Zach LaVine get held down to his defense.
I bet you the Utah Jazz would be better if they had Zach LaVine over Jamal Murray.
You know what, Ahmad? We gotta bring you back on one time, and I'm just gonna sit you and Stat.
Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, yeah.
Denver Nuggets, yeah. We're gonna have you back on. I'm just gonna sit you and Matt into this room, and y'all can just debate Jokic, Zach LaVine, Nuggets, bull. Like I'm gonna just let y'all have at it. But we are running out of time. I want to thank you, Ahmad, again for joining the podcast. And I'm gonna give you an opportunity to kind of plug yourself, what you're doing. Let our listeners know who Ahmad Smith is, what he's doing.
Ahmad Smith is just a guy that loves basketball. Worked in the league for 3 years. Got literally paid to watch basketball. Created my own brand a couple years ago when I went to grad school, 2017. Shout out to St. John's. Kind of just started this whole journey of creating content and stuff like that. Been in the sports industry about 6 years. Right now I'm a free agent. So anybody out there that's listening to this, I'm a free agent. But yeah, love sports, love basketball, and thanks guys for letting me be on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Having you.
Absolutely. One more time, give us the Instagram handle so everyone knows what it is, where to follow you.
AKISS NBA on all platforms.
Yes,
mainly
sir.
Instagram though.
Mainly Instagram. Love it. Now he drops great daily videos. I peep him. That's how I knew to add the scoring into this script, because I knew that was going to hit home for you, Ahmad. But thank you again for joining the podcast, man. We'll have you back on at some point, maybe towards playoff time or something. But again, thank you for joining, bro.
No problem. Looking forward to it.